Hello and welcome to Learn with Indrjeet. This is another video in the series of videos titled Building a To-Do Management System Application in the latest .NET 8 framework from Microsoft. In this series of videos, we are building together a very simple to-do management application to learn various programming concepts. Please note that this is not a production ready application and is for learning purposes only. In the previous video, we learned how to implement adding authorization header to the HTTP client request, where we used our JWT token from the cookie to add a bearer token header to the HTTP client request, and various scenarios like when the JWT is expired, we use the refresh token to get a new JWT and then send the authorization header. If you haven't watched that video, please go ahead and watch that too. In this video, we are going to implement a login partial view for authenticated and anonymous users, where we'll be fetching the user image from the API. So we are going to make the API serve static files and implement the login partial view, right? So it is going to be very informative. Please watch it till end, and if you find this video useful, give it a thumbs up. I'm very excited to jump in, but before that, I would like to thank all the viewers that have subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. If you are new to this channel and haven't already subscribed, please make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest content. So let's get started. So let's go ahead and implement login partial in the web app project inside of this shared folder. So what is a partial view? If you remember from a previous video, we implemented this to-do manage model partial view, and we just called it in the to-dos page. So a partial view is a small logic containing markup and C# code that can be used in multiple pages. Okay, so when we want code to be repeated, we put in a partial view, and if we want to have a small chunk of functionality, then partial views are used. So we are going to extract out this code, this functionality, which shows different links to the user based on if the identity is authenticated or not. Along with that, we want to show, instead of this far user icon, let me show you that, this one, instead of this, we want to show an image. So if the user identity is authenticated, we want to show the user image, and if the user is anonymous, we want to show a default image, right? And that image we want to fetch from the database and then show it here. So we'll be implementing this image functionality along with in the login partial. Okay, so let's cut this, and let me just stop the application. And while the shared folder is selected, Ctrl+Shift+A to add a new item, and underscore login partial. So this will be our partial view CSHTML. Let's add that and put in the code that we took from the layout page here. Okay, now let's call this login partial here. So partial name would be underscore login partial. Close that. Okay, Now let me just take this list item out of here and paste it here. So on the basis of whether the user is authenticated or not, we want to show different links. Okay, so let me just cut this, copy that and put this if else here and just move these links to the authenticated user and these links to the anonymous user. Okay, now let's remove the part that is not required, save that. Okay, now instead of this user icon we want to show an image, so img, the alt would be maybe profile image, right? And let's say the source is equal to @ and see here we want this image to come from the web API project. Why we are doing this? Because when we'll implement the functionality to save the images, we'll save all the images to the web API project, right? And why do we want to save all the static files, all the images to web API? Because tomorrow if we want to implement an Android mobile application or iOS application, that application will communicate only with the web API project, not with the web app project. So the web API project will be a single place, the common place to share the images file with the client applications, maybe a mobile application, maybe a web application or a iOS application, whatever. Okay, so in order to make the web API project serve static files, we want to do two things. One is add a new folder, www root folder, to the web API project. See, Visual Studio recognizes it, and let's put in some default and user images inside of this. So let me just go to the desktop and copy this images folder to the www root folder. Okay, so we have images, then we have users, and one is the default image. This is for the anonymous user, and for test user 3 we have this image. Okay, see, SA is written here, so this is a an example image, right? So now in the program.cs file we want to have this. Let me just take that from the program.cs of web app project. So we have this here. Let me just copy that and paste it here. So it is saying app.use static files with these options. Okay, these options I have explained in one of the previous videos, and we want to set the request path to be equal to /API. Right, now let's close the program.cs files and try to get the image from this folder. Okay, the users folder. So we want the API base URL here, so let's use string interpolation, and from config, which is not there yet, we want to get the configuration value of this key. Okay, so paste it here. So the web the API base URL, and where from this config will come, we want to inject I configuration here by the name config, right? See, now it is happy. Okay, then we already have a forward slash at the end of this URL, so we want to start with images slash users, and then we'll have the profile image name. Okay, so profile image maybe, and this variable is not here yet, so we'll declare it inside of this code block. Okay, so this @ and the curly braces in a Razor page represent a code block where C# code can be written. So where profile image, see, the error from here is now gone. So this profile image we want to get from the session. Okay, and when the user signs in, we want to set profile image into the session. Okay, so before getting it from session, let's go ahead to the sign in page and set it to the session just after the user signs in. Okay, so get the profile image name from claims, and then set the profile name, profile image name to session. Okay, so let's do the first thing first. Okay, now maybe image claim image claim is equal to the payload dot claims. Let me just stop here for a bit, and I want to show you something in the auth service. Okay, so in the auth service, when we implemented the login functionality, we generated claims, and this function is here. See, image claim is added when the user logs in. Okay, and we want to get this value here. So claims dot the first or default claim, where the claim dot type is equal to the name, the image. Okay, and if this is not null, then give me the value. Okay, so this is the image claim that we have, and the value contained in that. Now the profile image, let me just copy this thing because we are going to use it multiple times. So where profile image, if the image claim is not null, then we want to use this value, otherwise we want to set this value into the image name. Okay, and let me match this value with that is there in the database. So default image.jpg, default image.jpg, like so. Okay, so not string dot is null or empty. If this image claim is not null or empty, then we want to use it. Otherwise, from the cookie settings, we want to take the default profile image and set it, right? So in these two lines, we have obtained the profile image. Now let's set it to session. So context accessor dot http context dot session dot set string, and the string name would be this and the value would be this. Okay, so we are taking the image name from the claim and setting it to session. Now let's use that here. So we don't have the context accessor here. Let's inject that too. So inject http context accessor. Let's name it context, accessor, like so, and use it here. So underscore context accessor dot http context dot session dot get string. This time we are trying to get this string from the session, right? Let's name it profile image session because it might be null. Okay, so where profile image is equal to, if not string dot is null or empty, what we got from the session, then we want to use the same, else we want to have that default value, and the default value is there in the cookie settings. So let's do another injection, I options of type cookie settings, and let's name it as cookie settings. Okay, like so. Now it is yelling at me because we want to use Microsoft extension options as well as cookie settings is there in the application project app settings folder, right? Save that, and now the cookie settings dot value, if that is there, the default profile image. That's it, right? Now we have done that. Okay, so this, in this line we are getting the profile image name from the session variable. If that is not null, we are setting the default profile image name to the profile image, and then it will be shown. Now let's make this image beautiful. So let's add a class to it. So the class would be maybe let's make it a circle. So img circle, and let's give it a elevation of 2, and let's set the width and height. So style width maybe 35 pixels, and then let's set the height also, and the border radius to make it circle. The border radius, let's set it to be 20 pixel maybe, I don't know. Okay, let us see when it renders. Okay, so now we have extracted out this functionality and called a partial, the login partial, and while signing in we have done this. And in fact, let's do this thing on the sign up page also when the user is signing in, although the image name would be null, but let's do that here. So whatever is there in the image claim, it will be set to the session. That's fine. And now let's build the application and test it. So no changes in the auth service. Sign up is all fine. Yes. Okay, so on the UI, see, we are now seeing the default image. Let's sign in with username test user 3 and abcd hash 123 with capital A and sign in. So we are again seeing the default image because of the fact that this name is default image for test user 3. Okay, so now let's simulate that this test user 3 comes in, and here there is another link to modify the account, and there he changes the image. So let me just simulate that. So instead of default image, we have test user 3 dot jpg, and let's sign out and sign in again. So this time we should see the user image. Okay, so when the user uploads his own image, we store it into the web API images users folder, and then we provide the front end application with that image when the user logs in, right? So there have been a lot of videos for authentication. Now I'll leave the part of implementing changing of profile image up to you, and now I want to move back to the main to-dos functionality, because of which we have implemented identity in this project. So what we are going to do is, now we will implement the functionality to assign a user to a to-do. So for that, we'll make it simple. We'll add another column called assigned to in the to-dos table here. Along with that, we'll implement the created by column. So we'll get to know who created the to-do. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this video helpful and learned something, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button below. Your support means a lot to me. This encourages me to invest more time and create more valuable content for you. Remember to click the notification bell so you never miss an update on future videos. In the comment section below, please let me know what you learned from today's video. What was your favorite part? If you have any questions on today's topic or suggestions for future videos, feel free to drop them in the comments. I read and respond to as many comments as I can. To watch more videos on the same topic, check out the playlist or visit the channel. Thank you so much for your time. Keep learning.